apologize about that. So I'm going to go back to this page. Start sharing this again. So see right here, the overall error of the model, independent price and advertising. So they did not all have p-values below the level significance of 0.5. Right? No. So the one that did was bulk sales. Present advertising. Did not have p-value below the level of significance, indicating that the variable should not be included in the model. Right? The various inflation factors was below 0.5, indicating that multicollinearity was not a significant factor in the model. Let's go back to that and check out our multicollinearity. So with our multicollinearity, we're looking at our various inflation factors. Bulk orders and all the rest. We see that VIF. Do you guys see that? Yes or no? Did I? Okay, let me share that. Screen share. Excel. Do we see that, Max? Okay. If you go here to the X1, 2, and 3, see X3? Below 5. Anything below 5 is good. Anything above 10 is unusable. So that tells us how much our data is being inflated by. That's what's called a various inflation factor. How much it's inflating are either revenue or cost, whatever it is we're predicting, that various inflation factor lets us know how much it's being inflated by. And right here, anything under 5, we're good. 10, we got some problems. Okay? So we're good. There's no multicollinearity is what it tells us. For the next one, 1.3, no multicollinearity. That one, no multicollinearity. Okay? So I'm going to stop sharing that. And now we're going to run our costs. Okay? Any questions at this point? Now we're going to run our costs. Okay? I ran it before, but as I said earlier, what I want to do okay, so those of you that, how many, did any of you had a problem where you could not get the CE and I to work, that forecasting tool? If that happened to you for the revenue, what I want you to do is just to click this and just that, nothing else. And then put 95%. And if you had an issue with the CE and I, it'll run it, right? It'll run it without running any of the other stuff. And that's what was messing with people on the other one. It's because one of the variables was categorical and was creating a problem. But now let's run the model for this and take a look at it. Multiple regression, total cost. So now let's take a look at our costs. So right here, if we go back to that same document, stop sharing that. It was hypothesized that when we're looking at the other document, it's looking at costs, but it's looking at cost when it's looking at the things that it's looking at is our labor and materials and our variable costs. So labor, materials, and variable costs. So that labor and variable costs would not affect our costs. There's significant evidence to reject the null hypothesis. The significant F was at, if we look back at our model, our significant F, which is our p-value, is at 1, 2, 3, 1, 4. So 3 zeros, 1, 4. Which is lower level of significance. I am 99.99% confident at least one is not equal to 0. And when we look at our R square, tells that 77 and 73%. Right? So 77% of the increase or decrease in costs are attributed to the independent variables. When you adjust for, and that would be material and labor, and variable costs, goes down to 73, I believe. And so our multiple R for this model was 87. Our multiple R was 87 for this model. So that's how strong the relationship is. So if the cost, so if what we're looking at here, if labor and materials and you had no variable costs, our base costs would be, so we're looking at this, our base cost would be, if that's in dollars, it would be $9. If it's in hundreds, it would be $900. I'm just going to go with $9 just to make it simple. We'll put the dollar symbol and $9. And for every shoe or slipper, you make the MA, the materials and labor costs increase by so what this is telling us is for every slipper or shoe that you make, your labor materials increases by, because I think this is in hundreds, so it's $3.42. $3.42. $3.42. And the variable cost would increase by, I believe it was $1.10. To validate the model, we check the assumptions: linearity, independence, normality, equal variances. And so when we go back to our model and we look at them, for our residuals, there was no pattern in either one of them. Right? So we're okay with that. Linearity. Assumptions for linearity is valid. There is no patterns. To verify independence, we check the Durban-Watson. It was above 1.3. We validate that. Durban-Watson, it's 2.2, so it's above 1.3. So it's above 1.3. This one's at 2.2. 2.2. Assumption of independence is met. To verify normality, we check the skewness and kurtosis. And skewness and kurtosis were both within the normal range. We also plotted the residuals against predicted, and we see no wedge-like pattern in there as well. So the data is equally variable over time. The overall error in the model, our standard error for this model was 5.18. So 5.18. So $5.18. Our predictions were going to be off. Well, if it's a number of slippers, it'd be five slippers roughly. Independent variables all had a p-value below the level of significance. That is not true. Labor and materials, the p-value was 0.24. So that had a problem. p-value, the label it in materials is not valid. The various inflation factors, those were below 0.5. And so that's how you could write that one up. The only thing that we'd have to write for homework beyond that is our model itself or our equation. And so to do that, we would need our coefficients. Copy. And paste. So those are our coefficients. So if we wrote that up, it would be y equals, oops, that one in there. Y equals 9 point, I'm just going to write 9 plus, and that is in hundreds, so it would be $3.42. So 3.42 times how much labor and materials or how many shoes there is, plus our variable cost, which is $1.03, 1.03 times how many shoes we make, and that's plus or minus 6 shoes, 5 shoes, 5 shoes. Right? And then we can start to solve. But that, for the most part, is the homework. And I was rough kind of going through all this stuff, but I want you to be able to wrap your heads around it, of what this is actually meaning. Now, the reality of it is now we have a company that when we start plugging them out, and I think I ran through this the other class, where we actually have a company that's losing money. And how do we fix it? And that's where the homework hopefully is exciting, to where you can actually start going in there plugging in numbers. How do we fix this company? Let's take a look at this nightmare. So when we're looking at with revenue, that's costs. Can you guys see the Excel spreadsheet or no? Okay. Let me put that back up. Okay. So when we start doing our price and advertising, I think we started off at 550. And I know that each of you have come up with a different mix of how much advertising or how much you want to charge for the shoe, right? And based off of that, will tell us how many shoes we'll sell, and then you multiply that by the price that you would get, and that would tell you how much money you would make. Here's the issue, though, is when we actually look at our data, it tells us how many shoes, or what's the highest price we've sold our shoes for before. I think it goes up to $8. So you can't predict for more than $8, right? And it also tells us how much advertising we did. I think that was $450. So you can't do more than $450. Bulk sales, 1 means you did a bulk sale, 0 means no bulk sales. And so we can figure that out, and at 468 times our $7, we start looking at how much money we made. So 468 shoes times $7 equals $3,276. $3,726. Right? That's $3,276. And then we start going over here to our costs. We want to see how much it costs to produce 468 shoes. Right? Okay, stop. Still going. Okay. So when we plug in how many shoes that we're going to make, 468, 468, and 468. Look at our costs. That's in, so it'd be $2,900. So here we're looking at $2,989. We're going to make $3,276. So in this case scenario, we actually make a profit. The case scenario that I gave you guys were $5, you actually lose money. Okay, so what we're trying to do is to try to figure out how we can actually make money. So we're almost at the end of the class. So if you look at, remember I said, if you follow along with the stuff that I'm doing, so the Excel that you ran and that paper, that Word file, if you go to our, I'm going to show you where it's at, and you have about 5 minutes to do it. If you go to our Laulima site, and you go to assignments, there's something in here that says extra credit, in-class assignment. Upload those two documents. Upload that Excel spreadsheet and upload the document that we just did. You have about 5 minutes to do it. Just exactly what we just did. Upload it, you get 5 points. If you did half of it, you get 2.5 points. But whatever you did, upload it. That's the reason why I said to follow along. The reason why I did this in class and I wanted to put it to the template is because a couple things. One, we're going to do our final. In our final, we're going to have a case study. And the case study, you're going to have to interpret whatever's going on in there. And so I have this template so you can use it. So I want to make sure that we actually run stuff and we put it to the template to make sure that you know how to use the template. That way, going into the final, it's a piece of cake. You actually know how to do this. We did it twice. For regression, we did it once for ANOVA, or 2 times for ANOVA. We did it once for a t-test. We did it once for a z-test. So we've been to the rodeo a few times. That way, when we're looking at studying for the final, and we're like, okay, we have 2 case studies, you know how to use a template. So upload it. If you have those, simply go to that thing, upload it. You got another 5 minutes, upload whatever you got, and get some extra credit. Okay? So questions now. Questions now. Does anyone have any questions for me?
All right, Chris. So I have Kukua. I think they emailed you.
Yes.
Or emailed down.
For the final.
Yeah. So on next time.
Yeah, don't worry, I got it. We got
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Got you. Okay. More questions? Anybody else have questions for me?
So the stuff that we just wrote up, just the two is what we're turning in.
Yep, just the Word file and the Excel document. Turn it in.
Okay.
You get actually 5 points. Right? All she do is get 5 points for following along exactly what I told you to do. I mean, it's like just to give you a few extra points. I mean, if you're actually doing the stuff, give you a few extra points. Right? Hopefully you did. That's why I kept on saying do it. Let's. Questions on this? You got questions for me, Rose? I know you always have a few.
Oh, how long is the boot camp for tomorrow?
As long as you guys need it. As long as you need to be in it. For me, like, so I've had boot camps that have lasted 45 minutes. And I've had some that have lasted 7 hours.
Is it also going to be on Zoom?
It's going to be on Zoom. Yes. I will do it on Zoom as well. And so
Will you record it on Zoom too?
do what? Say that again?
Will you record it on Zoom as well if we
I
can
will.
attend it?
I will. I will.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And are you in Sweden, right, Max?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I get it. The time is off, as far as like the time schedule. Okay, don't worry, I'll have it on there as well. And if you have any questions, like after class today or tomorrow, please just email me. Or do you have a Hawaii number or just Sweden?
Right now, just Sweden.
Okay, well, just email me or something, okay?
Okay.
And I'll get back to you as quick as I can. More questions? Anything coming up for you, Sarah, or you're good?
I was taking notes for the in-class assignment, but like it's on my iPad, so I just submitted like partial of the typed out Word document.
No problem. You'll get
Do you want
whatever.
my notes?
Whatever you, if you did the stuff, you'll get credit for that, whatever it is.
Okay, I'm just gonna attach it as a PDF, like in the resubmissions.
Okay. So I get it. No problem. Any more questions and things? You know what's interesting, and if I share this, and let me see if I can show it to you guys right now, which I think it may be. I'll show it to you guys tomorrow. But, so, the pH stat that you guys use? So I actually have a model that I built that I'll show you guys that I let me